Hey guys, Jonah here, back with some more beer, as you know I would be. And I am back on my Ferment magazine, and I'm at Stone and Friends. So I'm doing quite a lot of Stone beers coming up. Weirdly, I've got, I think it's five Stone beers and five normal beers. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And I was umming and ahhing whether I should um, start with one that I think I'd like, or the other way round. So what I've done is a kind of bit of both, and connect it to some of the beers that I've had recently. So I thought I'd start with one that is probably one that I don't like just from reading the label, which is this one, Stone Go-To IPA. And why do you say I wouldn't like this? Because it says it is a vibrant session IPA, and we're looking at 4.7%. Not too shabby, to be honest. You can tell it's American because it's a 355. But is it American? Because when we turn the can round, we definitely have the new owner of Stone has kind of affected the kind of propaganda that is on the side. What have we got in there? Water, barley, hops, yeast, I guess, but nothing else. Looks pretty good, which is all cool and the gang. So if we flick over to the spider diagram for this bad boy, there it is, it's the same beer obviously. It gives us some more information. It says it's pretty hoppy, which is good. Bit fruity, little bit bitter, which is kind of cool. The hops in there are Magnum, Chinook, Amarillo, Mosaic, and Citra. So a shed load of different hops, which is fair enough. And it says Go-To IPA delivers all the citrus, peach, melon, and pine flavours of a much bigger IPA. And to complement this, Stone employs hop bursting, wherein an irrational amount of hops is added during the final phase of brewing to produce extreme flavours and aromas, while also imparting a burst of pleasant bitterness. So what that means is that they wanted to save a bit of time, save a bit of energy in heating. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that was only a half an hour boil, and they bonged shed loads of hops in really late or in the whirlpool. Maybe a bit of dry hopping as well. Really, really interesting. So although I do not like the Session IPA moniker, and whose moniker, I hear you ask? She's a girl that I know from Stone Brewing. No, I'm talking nonsense now. Right, let's go for a pour and we will see what we get. Yeah, so Stone has kind of, I'm quite glad that Beer 52 have done this, and I guess they've done it because they've been thinking the same way as me and thinking that Stone is basically disappearing. There we go. Maybe thanks to beers such as this. Who knows? And they thought we'd get them in while we still can. Either that or Stone itself had lots of beers that they were trying to get rid of. Who knows? Well, this is a hazy beer for a start, which is kind of cool. Not superbly hazy, should I add. You might be able to see a bit of trace through there. Headwise, fast disappearing, maybe a quarter of a finger, half a finger to a quarter. Oh, it smells very hoppy, very fresh hops as well, which is always nice. Yeah, it's quite traditional. Peach, melon, mango, not superbly tropical. Bit of kind of green in there too. Like I say, it's quite upbeat, it's quite fresh. And they haven't actually said on here, I don't think, what the IBUs are, which is a shame. But I don't suppose it's that bitter really. So this is a good example of what a beer that's done really quickly, short, sharp, shock. It's basically a hoppy pale ale, in my opinion. I asked someone the other day actually, and I got a reply from them via the Book of Faces, and yeah, they said, "Oh, no, don't," because I was complaining, as I do sometimes, about Session IPA, and it's not an IPA because it's a session beer. It should be just a pale ale. And they went, "No, no. In the modern lexicon, IPA just means a hoppy beer." And I was like, "Really? I don't think that's true." And then we got into the discussion about American IPAs and black IPA. This is what I thought was really funny. So from their point of view, they were saying an IPA is just basically just describing a hoppy beer. It is no longer an Indian pale ale. It's just IPA synonymous with hoppy beer. So from my point of view, I was thinking black IPA. How can you have a black pale ale? But apparently, I'm thinking about it wrong. And an IPA is just a hoppy beer. So it's a black IPA is a black hoppy beer. Why don't they just call it a black hoppy ale or something? Anyway, who knows? Who knows? But IPA is no longer a descriptor. I remember for a while they used to have American pale ales or APAs as well, which I guess is still a thing. It's definitely still a style under the BJCP guidelines or style guidelines, which I think changed last year, no, a couple of years ago. So maybe there's a new update coming out soon. However, not this year. So some of the things, the IPA section, they've still got a lot of different ones. They've got red IPA as well, which is ridiculous. I thought red pale ale, black pale ale, weird. Or brown, they had a brown IPA as well. Anyway, sorry. This is a session IPA. It's a hoppy pale ale. Cheers and beers. Oh, wow. It's quite well carbonated, so you get that carbonation bite, but that is hoppy. Really nice, fresh hoppiness. A lot of high notes. You can taste a little bit of the residual sugar, which is kind of nice, because normal IPAs in the American style and double IPAs especially, you get that as well. You get a nice amount of residual sugar on the tips of your moustache or on your lips, and that's what this has. We're getting lots of different things. I think it said in this in the review somewhere on the tasting notes that it had the floral presence, and that is quite present right at the end. But yeah, it's not obscenely hoppy. But on your initial kind of first taste, you think, "Oh, it's going to be hoppy," and then yeah, not so much. Yeah, I love that peach in it. The American style beers, when they're not going for obscene tropicalness, they have this kind of peach based thing, which I personally always link to Cascade hops, but in this case it isn't. But yeah, it's the kind of American kind of taste. Oh, but this, oh, maybe a touch of lemon in there right at the beginning as well. Although maybe that acidic kind of lemony fruity taste is coming from the carbonation, perhaps. Who knows? But yeah, this tastes a lot stronger than it is. If someone had said, "Oh yeah, this is 6%," I'll be like, "Yeah, yeah, no problem." Instead of what is it, 4.5, 4.7. So that is the only reason why this is a session ale. But otherwise, this yeah, this is a really nice kind of, I guess they call this a kind of lawnmower beer, which used to be the preserve of things like, I guess, Budweiser and, you know, other American beer, or Bud Light is the classic one. Um, like I said, quite well carbonated, because you can drink quite a few of them, still function at the normal level, not a problem at all. From my personal alcoholic point of view, what's the point in just drinking hundreds of beers all day, all afternoon, if you're not going to feel any kind of buzz from it because the alcohol is so low? It's just absolutely ridiculous. Actually, let me come on to another thing, because in America they're thinking about changing. I think it's the FDA, I think, are thinking of changing what a non-alcoholic beer is. Because at the moment, I think it's 0.5%, if I'm right, but they're thinking of changing it to under 1%. And I was thinking, well, 1% is still, you know, got alcohol in it. It's not alcohol. Well, they're calling it alcohol free, but it isn't. It's got some alcohol in it. It's just a very small amount, which will upset people who are alcohol, how should we say, not addicted to alcohol, but reactive to alcohol. And of course, the Muslim brothers and sisters who obviously won't be watching this channel, because why would they? Because I'm drinking beers, and that's something that they obviously don't want to do, which I can't understand because I really like alcohol. However, yeah, I've got enough respect to say, okay, if you want to do it, that's fine, but don't tell me not to. Oh, and look at that. Not so much lacing as such, but the foam is definitely sticking around. And that is actually, oh, I had a bit of hot bite at the end there. So it got kind of, the IBUs kind of went up as I went down the glass, which is always strange. But the more beers I drink and review for you guys, dear viewer, the more I subscribe to the feeling that the beer does change, even with a smaller glass like that. I mean, this is only just over half a pint, this bad boy, and yeah, even in that small amount of beer, from my initial taste to the end, in whatever it's been, sort of 10-ish minutes, the beer has substantially changed in that time. So for the beer judges out there, I would say drinking a tiny little shot of beer, does that really give you enough experience? Who knows? Personally, for me, you have to have a substantial amount of beer to truly experience everything that it has to offer. Obviously, if you're beer judging and you're drinking 20 beers in a day, wow, it was pretty carved up, that one. That then has a problem, because you're not going to be able to drink 20 pints. So you're going to have to break down your judging panel into different kind of different people, different groups, different strata sampling, shall we say, and maybe do some blind judging. I'm really thinking about doing some sort of official beer judging, because I think I've got the experience now. I'm 1,000 beers over on Untapped, getting near 1,100 actually, and some of the beers I've done early on here, especially my home brews, aren't on there at all. So it's probably near 2,000 different types of beer, or different, yeah, unique beers, shall we say. So I've had a lot of beer in my time, and I think you know, I'm up for learning, put it that way. But I think that I have the ability to kind of pick things apart and stuff. And probably for you, dear viewer, that's why you tune into Unclejona's channel. If you're new and you've lasted this long, I've obviously been saying the right kind of things. So please click like down below, subscribe to the channel, flick the bell down below. You know what I mean. And Uncle Jonah will return.